I'm trying to stay on what the Lord has called me to do. I'm trying to keep it up. But I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, there's times where I really just don't want to read the word. Like I don't want to read my Bible. I just don't want to open it.
You see my eyes on the Lord, I just been trying to get my hair right. Cause in the past, I was just trying to get my bread right. Pop out new man, yeah, them feelings, they all there right. And I be deep all in that work.
Welcome, family, to another episode of Jesus Uncensored. Today's episode, I'm gonna be a little transparent today. I've been just going through some stuff this month, and but I still want to stay true to what I told the Lord I'm gonna do, which is post 2 videos every single month for the rest of the year, and that's really what I want to do. So, I just want to go on and start off by saying, like I always say, this walk ain't easy. It really ain't. I've been in a place this month where I felt like what I've been praying for, and I think I've said this in past videos because I felt like this for a minute, but this past month I feel like it really hit me harder than usual, and I just feel like what I've been praying for, I haven't been seeing it. I've always told, am I centered? I feel like I'm not centered. I feel like that's better. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I've just always told the Lord my whole life, like ever since I was a young kid, like I remember this vividly. Like I think the farthest I can remember back is probably I was like 6 years old. Yeah, and I remember like really praying and talking to the Lord about me getting married one day and having a wife and kids, and that's something I've always wanted. The Lord has blessed me with kids for sure. I have twins. I believe I've talked about that before as well. But yeah, I got a boy and a girl, and I'm glad that I have those kids. I love my children. I guess it's like the Lord is. I feel like the Lord has partially answered that prayer and not in the way that I expected it to be. I used to always, tell myself that I didn't want to have, I guess you could say like what's it called? Like not a mixed family, but like a blended family. Is that what it is? That was just something I didn't want. And I know a lot of people have that, and it's nothing wrong with it. I know there's nothing wrong with it. It was just something that I didn't want and something that I wanted to avoid happening if I could, It's always a lot more difficult to bring together a blended family than when the kids that you have are with the same person and y'all are married and y'all are together under one household. Of course, that comes with its own problems. I understand that. I get there's no scenario where everything works out perfectly. I understand that. But I just remember like I've always told the Lord that's what I wanted is I wanted to get married young. I wanted to have a wife young and have kids young. And I wanted to be financially capable of taking care of them, and doing what I had to do in that part. And so I know a lot of that has been affected by my upbringing. I have a mom and a dad, and they both love each other. They're still together to this day. I want to say it's 37 or 38 years that they've been together. Yeah, they just celebrated their anniversary, but that's something that I've always wanted, and so seeing that growing up has heavily impacted me in my life, and I've seen the blessings that it's brought to me growing up, because I've seen my friends who didn't have that upbringing. I've seen their struggles. I've seen the issues that they have going on internally with the way they view themselves and their self-worth. I've seen their struggles with relationships with other people. It's affected them heavily. It really has. And not always in a good way, I believe in those scenarios, of course, your parents can, always they're going to try to do the best that they can. Most parents will try to do the best that they can with the scenario they have. But for me, ideally, I wanted it to be that I marry the woman that I have kids with, right? And that there's nobody else that I got kids with that I gotta, figure out how I'm gonna work through that relationship with that person while still maintaining my own marriage. That's something I've never wanted. Yet that's exactly where I find myself today. And it's just been a very frustrating road this whole time. Because naturally I I want to obviously I would want to make it work. Naturally that's where my heart is. That's what I would like to have done from the beginning. But this is it's sad to say, at least to me it feels sad to say, but the Lord has made it very clear that the woman that I have kids with is not my wife. He's made that very clear to me. And I've been struggling with that reality and accepting it. I've been struggling with it for a while. And, even though me and, my kid's mom aren't together, it's still something that plays in my mind when I think about talking to or possibly dating or even interacting with another woman on that level where it's like, okay, I'm thinking about, marriage or life down the road. It's difficult to fully do because in my head I'm like, dang, but like and people always say like, oh, for the next 18 years or the next however many years you're going to have to deal with this. To me, I think of it like this is a lifelong commitment. Like I have, like I'm going to have to see her and be around her for the rest of my life because my children are going to be around her and going to have events and going to have things that they want to invite both of us to. And I think about all that and it frustrates me because I don't want to have to deal with that level of drama constantly. And I understand it doesn't have to be drama. I know it doesn't have to. And I know that people have, worked out situations where they can have peace, even though, the two parties aren't together. They both go in their own separate ways. They're able to work it out. I know that that's possible. I know that that's, a reality for some people. But I guess because I don't see it too often, and more than anything, what I see is the negative, it's hard not to feel like to be afraid of what the Lord is calling me to do because I feel like sometimes I feel like even though he's saying that this is what's going to happen, that, that he has a plan for me, even though he's telling me that, it's like, it's hard to grab onto it and believe it, So I've just been in an interesting spot. That's really the main reason why I haven't posted a video earlier this month. Because as I said in my old videos, I've been wanting to post earlier in the month. I haven't been wanting to post last minute every single month. Like I got to stop doing that. I know I do. And I want to do better with that. I really do. This month it's been really hard on me. I'm not going to lie. It's been really hard on me. Emotionally more than anything. Emotionally. And I feel like it's really twofold because it's been hard emotionally, but I'm also feeling like spiritually drained in a way, if that makes any sense. I heard that term on Instagram. Somebody said it and like, I don't know. It really resonated with me. I guess you could say like it made sense. I've never really heard anybody say spiritually drained, but I've been feeling that way when you're like, okay, I'm trying to stay on what the Lord has called me to do. I'm trying to keep it up. But I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, there's times where I really just don't want to read the word. Like I don't want to read my Bible. Like I just don't want to open it. Like I'm not feeling it because I feel like I said, I feel like I'm doing what he's called me to do. And yet I'm not seeing a return on it, I guess, in the way that I had imagined. And so I guess it's one of those expectation things where it's like I've set my expectations here, and I feel like he hasn't met them. And that's frustrating to me because I know that he can. It's not like a matter where I'm like, oh God, you can't do this. There's no way that you can do this. I think I'm having a hard time believing that he wants to do it for me. And that's been the frustrating part, and this is why I had to log out. I have 2 Instagram pages now, which the second Instagram is supposed to be for this channel and me posting videos from this YouTube channel on there, which I haven't started doing yet. But I had to log out of my main Instagram page because every time I log on, I see somebody else that it's getting to the point where I'm seeing people where I feel like they have what I want. And I've been feeling myself become envious in a way of people that I shouldn't even be envious of, people that I'm like, dang, I should be proud of you. And I'm looking at it I'm proud, but I'm proud that you have it, but I'm also like, dang, God, where's mine? And it's been hard for me. I'm not going to lie to you. It's even been hard for me to accept that I've been feeling that way, because that's not usually who I am. Usually if I see somebody doing good, I'm like, bruh, I'm glad you're doing good. It don't bother me. It doesn't bother me to see other people doing good or see other people's successes. But recently it's been bothering me. And I guess I haven't wanted to accept that. And I haven't really came to terms with that. And so I'm not going to say I haven't brought it to God, because that's not true. I've brought this to God, but I feel like he hasn't answered me on it. Or in the moments where I feel like he's giving me an answer, I guess maybe, excuse me. I guess I feel like the answer isn't sufficient for me, and that I don't like that either, and I understand there's some times where the Lord, he'll give you an answer and you just don't like it. I get that. I understand. And, I think that's just what it is. I just have to learn to accept what he's saying, It's just been really frustrating for me. I really wasn't going to record this video. But I see it's getting late. Today is the 28th. Yeah, today is June 28th. And I told the Lord that I would post 2 videos every single month for the rest of the year. And that's what I want to do. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably I don't know. I might split this into another video. I might record another video after this. I don't know. But anyways, I guess I just wanted to get on here and be transparent and say where I am. And that's really it. It's I feel like I've asked the Lord for these things for years, and I feel like I'm not going to say the exact opposite, but I've gotten part of it, but not in the way that I saw it happening. I guess I have, like I said, I have my children, but it's been frustrating because I don't want to describe it this way, but this is the only way I know to describe it, where it feels almost like a genie, like I asked a genie for something and they gave me it. But with genies, they always have a twist to it, a negative twist to it. And that's what it feels like has happened here. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. And I know that it's not the Lord. I take full responsibility for how I lived my life before and what I was doing. I know how I was living. I wasn't living in preparation for what I said I wanted. I'm not at all oh, dang, I was doing everything right back then and God just gave me something crazy. No, I'm not going to sit here and say that at all. I was truly living in the world. I didn't, back then at that time, I'm not going to say I completely disregarded the Lord, but I definitely wasn't listening to what he was saying, in a lot of aspects. There were certain moments where, the Holy Spirit would be on me heavy, or I guess you could say I just felt convicted. I don't know. But in those moments, I would be yeah, no, I can't go through with this. I can't do this, blah, blah, whatever. But overall, I know I wasn't living for the Lord. My life didn't look like I was living for the Lord. I didn't have, any of the fruits of the Spirit. That wasn't manifesting in my life and showing up in my life. And so I know I wasn't doing everything right. I know I wasn't. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I was. But it feels like now that I'm trying to change it and turn it around, it feels like it's happening much slower than I would have wanted it to. And that's the part that's frustrating, you know. And like I said, I look at other people and sometimes I can get envious and upset and annoyed that I feel like they're receiving the success or the blessings that I would like to have. And that can be frustrating, you know, especially when, you know, you see it from the outside looking in. And so you don't see every detail of their life, but you know certain things about those people. And you're like, dang, like they did this, they did that. They did this. They used to do this. Like, why is God just blessing them in this way? And that's been the frustrating part for me, you know. I understand we all have past. You know, there's plenty of things that I'm sure people, you know, could look at my life and be like, well, this is what Emmanuel used to do. You know, why is the Lord blessing him in this way? Why is the Lord doing this for him? Because, of course, you know, on social media, people only post the good. And I understand that. But I guess it's just my emotions, you know. It's really just my emotions. And it's not an accurate depiction of reality. I realize that. But it feels that way. You know, it feels like the Lord has just said. At first, it used to feel like a not right now, but now it's starting to feel like a no. And that really hurts me. Like, I know it's not a no. Like, I know it's not. But it feels like that when I keep having to keep pushing, and not seeing the return in the way that I'd like, you know? And so, you know, like I said, I'm not being delusional. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've done everything right. I know I haven't. I've messed up in plenty of areas. And I guess, like I said, that's what bothers me is like these other people, when I look at them and I see their lives, when I see them having things that I prayed for, it bothers me because I'm like, well, Lord, I know plenty of things that they've messed up on, that they just completely went against what you know, call us to do. And yet here they are experiencing, you know, a blessing that I would have liked to have had. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. I know this video is getting long. I'll be trying to keep the video short, but this video I wanted to go in and say what I was feeling, vent, get it off my chest. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I don't know. I might cut this video up and turn it into 2 videos. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll probably record another one after this. But anyways, yeah, that's basically it. You know, I appreciate y'all for watching, for tuning in to another episode of Jesus Uncensored, for listening to me vent for a little bit. I know this isn't like the normal content I usually put out, but I know that I've been feeling this on my chest lately, and I've wanted to get it off. You know, I don't want to hold and harbor resentment towards the Lord and not be transparent about it, with him and also with y'all, because that's what this channel is about. It's called Jesus Uncensored for a reason. It's supposed to be my uncensored walk with Christ and me talking about these types of struggles, you know, and I'm just being straight up. This is where I'm at, you know. So I don't know if it's going to help anybody. I don't know if anybody else resonates with this, but I'm going to sit here and do a little bit of research, and probably next video I'm going to post something in answering, you know, this, because I don't want to present a problem without presenting a solution. And so, yeah, anyways, hope y'all have a nice day. Like I said, appreciate you for tuning in to Jesus Uncensored. Catch you in the next video. Peace.
All I need is just the Holy Spirit to keep me led right. You see the look right in my eyes. All that blood he shed for me, I had no choice to change my life. I just can't lie, all his love really caught me by surprise.